Johnny Mirror here, and welcome to a brand new video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at just Xbox. We're going to be talking about their future, and because we are in about, I'm going to say like 3 days after their big Xbox Game Showcase 2024, where they had, in my opinion, the best event I've personally ever seen. In my opinion, my favorite event of all time. I think the best event of all time. It was a 10 out of 10 masterpiece of an event. And we're going to be talking about the implications of that event, what all they showed, kind of doing a little recap. We're going to kind of glance over the recap, though. But then we're going to be talking about the future and what that looks like and what this event means for its roadmap and where we're headed next and what we could possibly see in years to come, possibly even next gen. We're going to be talking about all that today because I feel like this is going to be a very interesting talking point throughout the next couple years. And I feel like Xbox's hype is almost higher than ever before right now, which is crazy because a couple months ago it was lower than ever before. And this kind of unfortunately just how the gaming industry works. Us gamers, we are complicated ones, let's be honest here. But if you guys love gaming, if you guys like staying up to date, just talking, having some interesting conversations about video games, consider subscribing, leave a like, share with your friends, leave a comment down below. What is your hype level for Xbox right now? Where do you see it going in the next couple years? And what was your favorite announcements at the Game Showcase? But we're going to talk about that. Speaking of the Xbox Game Showcase, I already told you guys, I think it's a 10 out of 10. It is like my favorite event of all time. I thought it was just absolutely amazing. They showed 30 games, and like I would say 90% of those games I want to play. I think they look interesting, and I think 90 of those games looked really, really good. And so yeah, we're going to go ahead and to be fact, real quick, I want to point out, I just said we went from the lowest point from what felt like a decade of negativity when it comes to Xbox. They've had their high moments. There's been moments where it's like, yo, this is it. They're back. It's time. I just feel like the dominoes still haven't fallen, and I feel like this is it. When you go on social media, everybody is just buzzing. Everybody is loving, spreading positivity about Xbox. And it's just something we haven't seen in in so long, since the 360 days. And I just love it. And it's due to this showcase because it was just that good. There has been no showcase where this many games that were shown reached in my top 25, top 30 most anticipated games. There are so many games that I consider some of my most anticipated games now, and then we're all in this showcase. This showcase really did just deliver on everything you want. And when it comes to Game Pass, when it comes to first party, third party, second party, everything, man, it was just absolutely fantastic. So let's get into the games that were shown. I'm kind of going to glance over them. I'll give you my rundown of some of my favorites, and then we're going to take a look at some other stuff. So, the games that were showed, we have Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which I think was a really, really good showing. I actually have a lot of hope for this year's Call of Duty, and I'm actually really excited to play it. I think I would consider it one of my most anticipated games right now as well. It was really, really awesome to see what Treyarch and Raven have been cooking. Indiana Jones: The Great Circle continues to look really, really great. Gears of War E-Day, one of my favorite announcements there. Doom: The Dark Ages, I'll be honest, I think that might be my most anticipated game as of right now. Avowed, Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred, Flight Simulator 2024, World of Warcraft DLC, or just expansion, the next big update. Dragon Age: The Veilguard, gameplay actually was just shown off today. It was like 20 minutes worth of gameplay. That is now one of my most anticipated games as well. It looks phenomenal. Assassin's Creed Shadows, very, very excited for that. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, super proud of that studio has been able to just create what looks like absolute gem. Super excited to play that. Age of Mythology Retold, Fable, Stunner, Mixtape. Stunner's not a game, by the way, in case you're listening. That was a description for my opinion on Fable. It looks shockingly amazing. Perfect Dark, one of my favorite at the show and one of my most anticipated games right now. Expedition 33, I think one of the biggest underdogs of the show, definitely one that shouldn't get overlooked and isn't getting overlooked, which I really, really love. South of Midnight, very, very cool. Starfield Shattered Space expansion. Actually looks pretty interesting, all things considered. State of Decay 3. I can't believe that was even there. I was really hoping it would be there, and it was. Very awesome. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Kind of an interesting one. Gonna keep an eye on that one. Don't know how I feel about that one. Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road expansion. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Awesome. They are remaking that game right. It looks so good. Fallout 76 Skyline Valley. Honestly, a very interesting expansion. For someone who has been calling it Fallout 70 sucks forever, I don't know if I could say that right now. Life is Strange Double Exposure. Awesome surprise. It actually has a really, really interesting concept that I'm kind of interested in. Sea of Thieves got a new, their new season, new expansion, whatever. Atom Fall. Interesting looking game. Don't know how I feel about it yet. Flintlock The Siege Dawn. I think that game continues to look really, really fun. Winter's Burrow, cute little indie game. Fragpunk, an interesting first-person shooter, and Mecha Break. So there were all the games that were at the showcase, and I'll let you know right now. Perfect Dark, Gears of War E-Day, Doom: The Dark Ages. I will say Fable, Black Ops 6. Dragon Age Veilguard, Stalker 2, South of Midnight, Expedition 33, State of Decay 3, Metal Gear Delta, Indiana Jones. I think Avowed. All of those are just incredible. And that's so many games. I don't know if I've ever been able to say that many games in one dang showcase, bro. It is just awesome what this showcase was able to do. Now, what I think I want to talk about right now is games that were missing, because I think that's a really interesting talking point, because while they showed a lot, there are still some things that are missing, and I don't necessarily think that is a bad thing. Either they're just not ready or the timing just didn't make sense. The first one I'm going to talk about is one that is still slated to come out this year. We actually have two that are slated to come out this year that we didn't see at the showcase, and they are confirmed to be day one Game Pass, and they are either first or second party games. The first one being Ara History Untold. It is a strategy game, not really my type of thing, but I know there is a huge fan base for that out there, and we were all expecting to see a date at the showcase, considering it was at the Xbox Developer Direct earlier this year, but it just didn't show up. So curious if that one may be getting pushed back, or if it has its own plan. I'm not really sure about that. And then the other one, which I was actually really excited to see that wasn't here, was Towerborn. I think that game looks like a really interesting concept, and I really enjoyed what I've seen of the game, and I was really hoping to maybe get a shadow drop or just something else for that game, but again, it just didn't show up. And yeah, I don't know if it's getting pushed or if it just has its own thing going. I know that is a second party game, so maybe the developers have their own plan, but we'll just have to wait and see. Outer Worlds 2, we haven't heard about this game since, I think, 2021's showcase. I don't really expect to hear about it until maybe next year, because Avowed is Obsidian's big game right now, and I do plan on them, or I can imagine they're planning on just focusing on that, and I don't really blame them, because Avowed does look pretty good. Contraband is another second-party game with Avalanche Studios, one of my favorite studios out there right now. This one I really thought we were gonna see. I really did think we were gonna see Contraband. We kind of know like the genre, but we don't know what the heck it really is. So I was really expecting that to see that. That one was a huge miss. And then Clockwork Revolution. Out of all the ones I've been talking about, this is the one I really am excited for. Like, this is one of my most anticipated games right now. It just looks awesome. And the concept and everything we have seen in that first trailer, it was a really good first trailer. It just looked awesome. And I was really hoping we'd see it, but we did not. And then, of course, we have Elder Scrolls 6. We weren't going to see that. There was just no way. We have Hideo Kojima's OD. I thought maybe we could have seen it, but I'm really not surprised it wasn't there. Marvel's Blade, obviously, that game is super early. We're not going to see that for at least another year or two. We have a bunch of, like, Xbox projects. The one with IO Interactive, with the People Can Fly. studio, a bunch of those. Everwild, don't know what the heck or what's going on with that game, where that game is. And then Project Mara from Ninja Theory. I'm not surprised they weren't there as Hellblade just released, and we really haven't heard anything of it. From some of their live service games that didn't show up, Minecraft, Age of Empires, Grounded, Halo, Forza, none of those showed up. Overwatch didn't show up. So there are a lot of things that didn't show up, which is part of also what makes this awesome in a way, because as we just talked about, they showed so many games and so many big ones, and it almost feels like they just showed the whole slate, but when you go through it, they still have so much that they could talk about and so much we haven't heard about, to the point where you could almost do a whole second showcase just showing the other half of your catalog. And on top of that, there are so many studios that haven't announced things that are just kept secret. Double Fine, they're working on something. There's so many studios, and now that they have Activision Blizzard, who knows what they're starting to cook up. Toys for Bob just announced they are officially working on an Xbox game. There is still so much that they are cooking with, that this is not it. The things that we saw in the showcase is not it, and that is what makes it so exciting for me, because when you just look at it, they have a stacked lineup and catalog and portfolio of games, and I am super duper excited to play almost all of them. But I do think something else that was missing from this show was release dates, because while we got the years for a lot of games, if we look at this year specifically, we got a Flight Simulator 2024 with a November release date, so that was great. And then we have Age of Mythology Retold with a release date for, I think, September, and then Black Ops 6 with an October release date. But the ones we did not get a release date for Avowed and Indiana Jones. These two showed up at the Developer Direct earlier in the year and were given a 2024 release date. We're like, okay, we'll get dates at the showcase. Well, showcase happened. They were at the showcase. No date. Still just 2024. I've heard a lot of people saying there was a chance they get pushed back into 2025. Well, the Avowed deep dive that happened right after the Xbox showcase, or the day after the showcase, they said that they are confident in a 2024 release date. And to be honest, I don't really think Indiana Jones or Avowed will get pushed to 2025 due to needing more time. If anything, I think they will get pushed due to just a strategic decision, because the second half of this year is kind of looking a little bit jam-packed right now. And as well as the fact that you have Black Ops 6, you have Age of Mythology, you have Flight Simulator, you have Stalker 2. That got a release date as well. There really is a lot that they already have, as well as Starfield Shattered Space DLC supposedly going to drop eventually this in the second half of this year. Next month we have Flintlock Siege of Dawn dropping into Game Pass. We also have Replaced, which still technically has a 2024 release date. I'll also say that was another miss. I really wanted Replaced to be here, and it wasn't, and that's okay. Obviously, that studio is going through a lot right now, and so we're being very patient with them. There's the fact that Indiana Jones and Avowed didn't get release dates is very, very interesting. There was a leak for Avowed that it would get a November 12th release date, but they instantly took that down, so I'm not really sure. I'm not going to confirm anything yet. It doesn't seem that far. That seems very likely in my opinion, and I'm going to go and throw it out there. I thought Indiana Jones would maybe release September. I was really banking on that, but it's just not. So we'll kind of just wait and see. I don't know if maybe they have another Developer Direct plan, because honestly, they could do that. And maybe they'll be like, yo, Doom, early 2025. And we'll be like, all right, there's our first quarter game. And I really hope that is the case, because then if we look at their 2025 roadmap, we have things that were confirmed. South of Midnight, Fable, and Doom, The Dark Ages. 3 of those games are already confirmed for 2025. So already as an Xbox fan, I know I'm going into 2025 with 3 banger-looking games. All 3 of those games look absolutely amazing. I can't believe Fable even got confirmed for 2025. And South of Midnight being 2025 is very, very interesting. And then Doom: The Dark Ages, we just know is going to be awesome. And so that being 2025 is awesome. I do imagine Doom will be a first half of 2025. That one just looks the farthest along. And then I would say South of Midnight after that, and then Fable after. I do think Fable will be their big holiday game. October, November, December, one of those three. That will be Q4 for sure. And then I would like to guess maybe South of Midnight could be a summer, fall, maybe one of those two. I'm really banking on Doom being either early or spring. I'm pretty confident in that actually. So their roadmap is looking really, really good. And then we got things like Gears. We have things like Perfect Dark that kind of was shown, State of Decay 3, but no release dates, no years, no nothing. And that's where I think 2026 comes in. And this is where we start talking about really theorizing about what the future of Xbox could possibly look like. There have been rumors, there have been inside discussions about Xbox possibly releasing that, number one, a next-gen console, or doing their next-gen early, starting in 2026, rather than what everyone else is expecting, either 2027 or 2028. I am actually pushing for this idea. I think this would actually be really, really cool. Separate yourself from PlayStation to a certain extent, and get ahead of the game, so it almost just feels like a fresh start, because I feel like now the dominoes are starting to fall, and I feel like doing an early start with next gen would, number one, be exciting, interesting, and I feel like there is a lot of opportunity to really come out swinging with this. And when I look at some games that could possibly release in 2026, you have Gears of War EA, Perfect Dark, State of Decay 3. 3 games I think would make amazing launch titles. You have your third-person game, flagship franchise for Xbox. You have a reboot, first-person game. And you have your multiplayer zombie game, man. I think those 3 would be great, as well as whatever the Call of Duty will be releasing that year. That's something else we can know about Xbox. Almost probably every year we're going to be getting a Call of Duty. Don't know if they're going to do that. I would personally want them to go every other year. I want them to do bi-yearly. I don't know if they will do that, just because it makes so much money. But you never really know. And then you have things that were also confirmed for 2025, like Expedition 33 did get a 2025 release date. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers Mixtape, Atom Fall, Fragpunk, Winter Burrow. Those games also did get 2025 release dates. So then you start asking, what else could they do? And there's also rumors of a handheld. There's possibly going to be an Xbox handheld. This is an awesome idea, in my opinion. I would love for this to happen. I would be super duper hyped. And as long as it has cross progression between your console and your handheld, I'm playing State of Decay on Xbox. Oh, I gotta go to my college campus. I'm bringing my handheld with me, continue playing there, all that great stuff. I'm actually down. I personally would, if it was up to me, I think a great idea would be release your next gen console in 2026 alongside an Xbox handheld. Kind of pull a Nintendo. You have your home console, your handheld, all at the same time. This is the next generation of Xbox. Let's go, jump in. That kind of stuff. I think that would be really, really cool. As well as, I think launch lineup could maybe consist of something like Outer Worlds 2, maybe, or Contraband. I do think Contraband is probably next year, in my opinion. But then maybe you get possibly one of the biggest games you could possibly do, Elder Scrolls 6, to launch alongside that, or Blade, or Everwild. The possibilities are really endless, because then you start thinking even 2027. Obviously, they're not going to release all these games in one year. They're going to spread them out strategically. We've reached a point, ladies and gentlemen, where in Xbox, every year is going to have bangers, whether you like it or not. Unfortunately, if you are a Xbox hater, you can hate, but you can't lie. There is a difference. And we have reached the point where Xbox, they are back with games, and now we just have to see if they can deliver on quality. But what I can tell you is that, number one, they're not going anywhere. They're not shutting down Xbox. They're not going away from consoles. It's just they are changing up their strategy. And here's the thing. Game Pass is the future. I personally don't know if that is the healthiest option, if it is the most sustainable option, but what this game showcase pretty much concluded for me is that they are still all in on Game Pass. They are going to be releasing things multi-platform, whether we like it or not. I'm personally okay with it as long as it's not things like Gears, Halo, the Xbox franchises, things that made Xbox. As long as it's not those, it's fine. Doom going there is fine. If Indiana Jones decides to go there, that's fine. Call of Duty, fine. As long as the advantage for me as an Xbox player is that, okay, if you're on PlayStation, you're going to have to pay $70. But if I'm on Xbox, I can get it pretty much for free with my Game Pass subscription. That is incentive enough to me to own an Xbox and to feel like it's an exclusive, but it's really not. The more people get to play it, it's going to be more sustainable, and I get to save a lot of money. To me, that is a win-win. And I do think that is the future. If you release games like Indiana Jones, like Black Ops 6, like, let's say, Doom: The Dark Ages, on PlayStation, you're getting that income of profit as well as your subscription services on Xbox, as well as people who also just buy it on Xbox or on PC. I think going multi-platform is a really good idea for the sustainability of it. Me personally, as a gamer and as an Xbox fan, the selfish side of me was like, yo, I wish all these games were just exclusive to Xbox. Unfortunately, that's just not how the industry is going to be working in the next coming years, and you kind of just have to look at it through a different lens, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. But I do think it's going to be a case-by-case strategy where it's going to be, they're going to have to find a balancing act. Okay, Doom: The Dark Ages is going to PlayStation, but okay, how about this? Doom: The Dark Ages and next year's Call of Duty will be going to PlayStation, but South of Midnight and Fable are only on Xbox. However, you can get all 4 of these games on Game Pass. That's fine with me. That is completely fine with me. But then if you start saying, all right, Fable, South of Midnight, Doom: Dark Ages, Black Ops 6, all going to get to PlayStation 5, and we've actually backtracked, Call of Duty is no longer going to be in Game Pass day one, then I'm going to have an issue. Then there is an issue. Now, if they decide to be like, okay, Doom, Call of Duty, going to PS5, Fable going to be exclusive to Xbox, South of Midnight going to be exclusive for Xbox, but we're going to bring South of Midnight over to PlayStation like a year later, but all 4 are still on Game Pass, that's also fine with me. I just really think it's going to be a balancing act. They're going to have to find a way to make you feel happy that you own an Xbox and that you choose to play on Xbox, as well as staying sustainable and trying to grow your business. And that's really what it means for them. And yeah, overall, I am super duper hype. I'm going to have tons of videos throughout the next 2 weeks covering a whole bunch of different games. I have 15 games lined up. I have a lot of work to be doing. 15 games lined up where I'm going to be basically doing a video like this, going over a bunch of different talking points. What does it mean? What's my overall thoughts? Where's my excitement level? Doing deep dives, breaking down stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos covering a lot of different games. We're going to be doing Perfect Dark, Gears of War, Call of Duty, Fable, Doom, all that stuff. It's going to be great. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, definitely leave a like, leave a comment in the section I'll be provided, and please subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. Johnny Moore out. Peace.